everyone, and welcome to Crafting with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and I am not going to be on the camera today, but what I am going to be doing is showing you the key terms in the RIIN software if you are an HTVRONT D1 DTF printer owner, or if you own the Lock Leak DTF printer. This should also be helpful for you. The first thing I'm going to do is import the key terms file so that you can see everything that I plan to review as we go through the tutorial. I have my key terms list imported, and the first thing that's on the list is what is RIIN and what does it do? The short answer is the RIIN software is basically the boss. It tells the printer what to do. So without the RIIN software, it's basically a RIP software. It tells the printer what colors to use, how much white ink, what colors are most important. It tells the printer how to lay the colors down in terms of the order. It actually controls all of the colors and the quality of your prints before they ever even get to that transfer film. The space that you're looking at right now, that white sheet, is considered as the canvas. And so when I'm referring to anything that's happening here in the software, I'm referring to the canvas. Now we understand what RIIN does. Let's look at the other items on the list. We have the left menu, the top panel, the layout menu panel where I'm moving it around right now. You have attached, I think I kind of left that on there by mistake from another list, but I'll show you how to use it anyway. Other important information, the canvas settings, importing images, printing, color settings. I'm definitely going to remind you to proceed with caution when you are messing around with the color settings. If you have too much white ink coming out, and how to get help. Now, as I go through this tutorial, I've been reminding everyone that if you're finding my content helpful, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. In addition to all three of those, I'm also asking you to hype the video, which helps content creators who have less than 500,000 subscribers. Now let's get started. Let's start first by looking at the panel right here on the left. Most of this is pretty self-explanatory. Right now I'm using the select option. You also have the option to zoom in or zoom out. These both work pretty much very much the same way they do in other softwares. You have the option to crop or clip an image. If I wanted to crop this list of key terms, I would just click on that and then make it smaller or bigger or whatever size I wanted to. I also have the option to add a line underneath. Not sure why I would want to do that, but if you wanted to maybe add a line in between two images, you could do that. You could also add a rectangle or a circle or an ellipse. You can also add text or even add a barcode if you wanted to do that. I'm going to continue to undo because I don't actually want to add in any of these features, but I definitely wanted to bring them to your attention if that's something you were interested in knowing about. Now, in terms of adding text, you can always change the text if you wanted to add text to an image that did not already have text, or if you wanted to add additional text, you can change the size in millimeters in terms of the width or the height. You can also, make the text bold or italicized or italicized. You can add an underline to it. You can increase the size or decrease the size. Now, the fonts that you see listed here or within your software are the fonts that you have installed on your computer. So if you're looking for a specific font, like let's just say you have it on a different computer, but you don't see it here, you would need to install the font. You can also change the colors and you can do all the things. Okay, so you have that tool right there in the software. Let's take a look at the menu at the top. You have the option for new, save, print, import, a lot of different options. Most of those are basic functions. Let's click on the actual software name, which is RIIN. This is where you would go to change the size of the canvas. Mine is set to 13 inches. Now, if you want to, change yours, you can do that. It even gives you a note to let you know the width of the printer in case you wanted to make yours a different size. Now, I keep mine set to this. I haven't changed it, but you have the option to do millimeters, centimeters, whatever unit of measurement you feel the most comfortable using. This information right here where it says origin, that means when I import an image, it's going to be imported to the left upper corner. I can change that to the left lower corner, right upper, right lower. That's a matter of personal preference. These are my settings if you want to make yours match. The only other important thing there is to know within that menu are the color settings, and we are definitely going to come back to that. If I click on new, it'll open up a new blank page with the same settings that I already had. If I click on import, I can import images that I have downloaded or saved to my computer. Okay, let's look at more information at the top. There's undo and redo. And because I don't have anything on my canvas right now, it's kind of hard to show you different options. That layout menu, it refers to that little menu at the bottom. This is how to turn it on and off. You can see if I click that right there, the show option, it gives you, the list of things that you can show. Right now my canvas is set to white background. I can turn on the transparent background option, and then here is where I could also go if I wanted to change the language to Korean or Chinese. I'm going to keep mine set to English, of course. There are other tools here. And then there's a preview option, and then there is a spot color option. We will look at those as needed, especially when it comes to if you're having a problem with too much white ink being released. We'll see that towards the end of the video. Now let's refer back to our list. We've looked at what is RIIN, the left menu, the top menu, the layout menu. Let's look at the layout menu and see how that works exactly. I'll import an image. I have an image of myself, and I'll use that as my example. I'm bringing the image in at 8.5 inches in width. And this is just a picture I took of myself for another purpose. Right now, the proportions are locked. Make sure your proportions are also locked. But if I look at the layout panel down here at the bottom, I can see the size of my image is 8.5 inches in width and 10.8 in height. I can rotate the image here. I can change the alignment or arrangement of the image here. This is just where you make those alignment and arrangement changes. You can rotate the image here. This is where I could also go if I wanted to make a copy. I could right click and copy, and then I can just paste another image in. I could change the size of the image. If I wanted to paste multiple images of myself at one time, I could right click and do multiple paste. I can decide how much space I wanted in between the images, how many images I wanted to paste. I think that's something unique about this software that I like. So if I wanted to have, 3 inches in between and I wanted to add multiple images, I can see that I've added multiple images of myself. I could resize individual photos and then just add them to the canvas. So that's more information for you to have about how copying and pasting works in the software. Now that I have the images resized, I could, continue playing around with it and see what other options I have. I know that if I selected all of the pictures, I could make changes all at one time. If I wanted all of them to be the same size or all of them to be facing the same direction, I could select them and I could continue to look at the features and the options in the layout panel to see exactly what I want to do with my photos and how I want to have them laid out. So if I were making jerseys or the same shirt multiple times and I wanted all of the images to be the same size, I could lay them out just the way I wanted to, and I could have the software to help me with sizing and resizing. So hope that part helps. Let's continue. I am going to skip attach. I honestly think I left that in there by mistake. But let's look at the other important information. If you click on the question mark in the upper right corner, you'll see that there are options. There is an option to contact us. That is not for HTVRONT. That is for the developers of the software. So I don't think that will be helpful for you. However, there is a shortcut description list. I think that might be helpful. Like if you wanted to just know how to close out the software quickly or open a specific setting, it gives you what the shortcuts would be to get to a variety of settings. I think that's very useful. Also, the user guide for the RIIN software is in that list of helpful documents. Let's continue. The next item on the list is importing images, and let's just say I found this image on the Creative Fabrica website and I wanted to import it. The first thing I would have to do is download the image. Then I would have to extract it. So I would bring it over to wherever I plan to extract it. I click extract and I would go ahead and either save it in a folder or extract it wherever I want to extract it. And then once it's completely extracted, I would click on the import option in the software and I would navigate to where I have the image saved, and then I would bring it into the software. That I've navigated to where the file is saved, I have the option to bring the file in at the original size or decide on what size I want the file to be. I'm bringing it in at 5 inches. It's going to come in, and here is the file. So now I can make it bigger. This is, all a matter of personal preferences or how many of these images I plan to even print. So that is the gist of how to import images. Look back at our list. Now, it's important to remember when you're importing files, you are only importing PNGs and JPEGs. If you have an SVG, it will not import. All right, now let's look at adding borders. I kind of already have touched on adding text, so I'm not going to go back to that again. But let's zoom into the photo, to the image. You can see there's a lot of space around this photo, a lot of white empty space. Right here where it says stork image, that's actually a typo. It should say stroke image. And let me show you how to use that. Let's say I wanted to add a frame around this image, and let's pretend I wanted the size of the frame to be 2 millimeters. And let's say I wanted the color to be this pink down here. I would click OK, and you can see that it will add a frame around the image. I think that's really pretty. Now, the one change I would make is that I would kind of crop the image to remove some of that white space. So I would click on the crop over there on the left panel, and I would remove some of that white space. And when I remove it, the border actually gets smaller to go to where the size of where the image is cropped. Now, if I were ready to print this, I could click and print one, or if I wanted to do multiple prints, I could click the multiple print option, and I can decide how many images I want to print and how much space I want to have in between. If I wanted to print 10 images and have 50 millimeters in between each image, I could do that. Now, I'm not going to click print because I don't want 10 of these, but I wanted to show you what that option looked like. Right here, I am going to say proceed with caution 3 times. Proceed with caution, proceed with caution, proceed with caution. If your colors are already perfect and you don't have any problems with the way they look, everything looks great, do not touch the color settings. However, if you do have problems sometimes with some of the images you're working with and you want to see how you can make adjustments, I will show you how to do that. I am not an expert. If you stay around to the end, I'll show you what my messed up play around image looks like. What you're going to do is go up to the RIIN software option at the top left corner, the actual software name where it says RIIN, and click there. You'll click on the option for color settings. When you click on the color settings, you'll see that there should be 4 established settings. You see one at the bottom. I made that. I'm going to delete it because it's not real anyway. But the ones at the top, these 4 that you see right here, these are real. These were pre-established. These were already set when I got the printer. If I wanted to play around with the settings, what I would do is I would click on the first one and I would click copy. That way I'm not messing around with what I already know works. So if I were to click in that first box, I would click on the option to copy, and then I would make a copy that I can, adjust. So in this first box where it says new Chinese name, I'm just going to call it whatever, the CMYK test, whatever you want to call yours. You can call it your name and CMYK test. CMYK, the C is for cyan, the M is for magenta, the Y is for yellow, and the K is for black. So now I have a copy of those exact settings. I'm going to uncheck the real settings that I know work for sure. And when I get ready to play around with it, I'm playing around with my copy. And that way I'm not messing anything up on my printer. When I'm ready to modify, I'm going to mess around with the modified version. So right here, I can see what the settings look like. And if you're wondering, what do Delonda settings look like? This is what my settings look like. So if I wanted to make adjustments here, I could click the drop down for the C, and I could, either drag that line to the left or to the right to increase or decrease the amount of ink that is being pulled from the cyan or the yellow or the magenta or the black. Next, I would go and, print and see what it looks like. And remember, I'm using that solution as my option. So if I was ready to print, I would click on the option to print. I would turn off the multiple prints. And right there at the top, I would make sure I was using not the real one, not the right one, but the one that I just created. And remember, if you stick around to the end, I'll show you it's a hot mess. I would turn off the multiple prints. I don't need multiple prints of this. I would just uncheck that box and I will get this printed and show you what it looks like, but we'll look at that towards the end. All right, so we are coming down to the last 2 items that we need to discuss. Now, let's just say the problem you're having is that too much white ink is being produced. I am going to share the photo with you that HTVRONT sent me. It has helped so many people. If you are having too much white ink, change your settings. I will also share all of the text information that came along with the photo. If I'm sharing it too fast and you miss it, make sure you check in my Facebook group, do a search for RIIN software or RIIN image or something like that, or too much white ink, and the photo will show up. Let me show you what it looks like. Last but not least, how to get help. I am sharing all of the important information that I have at my disposal below this video in the description of the video. How to contact HTVRONT, how to clean the printer, how to change the settings for the white ink, and everything else I know. Any other tutorials I've made that you might find helpful, everything is linked below the video. If you have found this tutorial helpful, please remember to not just hype it, but like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications, because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.